this very specific situation. We had nothing, almost no money, no water, all of that. I was like, I don't think I'm okay seeing my mom sleep on the ground, and there's nothing wrong with sleeping on the ground, but we had come from a very lavish past. I used to switch off the camera and cry, and I used to be like, I'm gonna make sure that I never ever am in this position ever again. Even at 9 months, you'll see me do like makeup videos and get ready with me, is when I was like, my heart was shattered and shambled.
How was it for you? It's so public when you go through a separation.
Don't put your favorite stars or public figures on a pedestal. They all have issues at the back.
Yeah.
It's too much pressure on women to just be all okay the next day after giving birth.
What do you feel like when people are having theories?
I don't know what it is like to have like the comfort of a man while you're pregnant.
How does co-parenting work, and does it really work?
Don't try and be a perfect parent, man. It's just not, it doesn't exist only.
How do you feel about love?
I cannot even think of another person, so that's out of the picture.
Be your own rebound.
Amazing. Sometimes God takes people out of your life for a reason. There's so much pressure on men to just provide and be a certain way all the time.
You are a single mother with your mother, who also raised you like a single mother.
To arrive at a decision like this, you have to really try everything and be like, look guys, nothing worked out.
Welcome to the Humans of Bombay show, Malvika. It's absolutely amazing to have you, especially because I told you that you're the sister of one of my favorite human beings.
Yes. So sweet.
Yeah, Jake is just so sweet. So like, I feel like I know you because, and also look similar. So I'm
yes,
just
we
like,
do.
Yeah.
And he's also my favorite human, so I understand.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
I am good, finally in a better place.
Okay.
Just completed 1 year of giving birth, and I feel like that's a massive milestone.
Yeah.
So I'm finally feeling like myself. I am truly happy and at peace, and I'm so happy to be able to even say these words, because honestly, all this time I could not say it confidently.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I'm there.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
So now you're good.
I'm good.
Yeah, motherhood is a journey, like people think like you snap your fingers and like you're a mother. Like you just don't snap your fingers and become a mother. Like you evolve and grow into that role as well, as you do with any role that you hold in life.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about everything, but we'll begin with all your achievements. You've been killing it, and you've done so much, right? Like you started off as a model, you walked Cannes, then you were in the Forbes top 100 digital creators in 2022. So many different feathers in your cap, and motherhood is a feather. I think it needs to be there, central and front.
Yes.
So that included. So tell me, what is it about reinventing that you've believed in through your journey?
Reinventing. Oh my gosh. I honestly feel like, firstly, I've been here for, I think, almost 10 years in this industry. And in those 10 years, it's been quite a roller coaster of up and downs of so many things in my personal life. And it's that main crucial like 20s when you're just about to find you don't have your footing yet, but you just want to go out and explore. You want to be a college kid and stuff like that. And then you don't get to. You just realize, oh my God, I just have to pick up every baggage I possibly have and just learn now to just navigate life.
Yeah.
And so, there has been a constant reinventing of sorts, from 18-year-old Mars to like a 22-year-old trying to be an adult, and sort of parenting and becoming a parent of the house, essentially. Long journey, but me and my older brother, both of us had to like change a lot of masks and roles in our lives. And finally, we feel like we're able to shed all of those because, we're in a better spot today.
Yeah.
So reinventing is absolutely essential while keeping your core and your values the same. I feel like I have done that so far, and everybody who's close to me already knows that. Like, you will literally go back and see my videos from then and now, and there's always that underlying authenticity that remains the same.
Yeah.
And that is a huge factor in why I've garnered such a loyal audience. I won't say even the numbers, I'll be like, they're loyal audience, and they will stick around. Even if I quit for 2 years and I come back now, they'll still be there.
That's amazing.
And that is what I've been able to create in over 10 years.
Yeah. And so many of your, the way you operate, right, in your adulthood happens in your childhood / formative years.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned that you and your older brother had to step into certain roles pretty early on, right? And that's weight. It's heavy. It's not necessarily light. Like, you can't just be and be like, okay, now I'll go to this party or I'll do that, which is typically what people do in their early 20s. You were raised by a single mother.
I had my dad early on, and then later on, eventually,
Yeah, so pretty much something where there's a central figure in your life. So talk to me about that. How was that? What was it like when you guys were growing up? Because you're as siblings.
Totally. I think it was my older brother and me first. So Jay and I were together for a long time, and then Jake came along like 8 years
So
later.
cute.
So I think it was just me and him, and we had a lot of fun. I had a very good childhood, I must say. Dad was in and around, but then eventually when it came down to it's a long story, to be honest. But I think I remember mom. I'll tell you that. Like, I remember mama being there at all times, right? She also had a very difficult, like, upbringing and childhood as well. But you can go either way. You can either sway to that side, or you can be better for your children. And I feel like she chose to be better for us in every way possible. Like, and I always say, having one parent back you up and one parent support you is all you'll ever need to even climb up the ladder in life. And sometimes people don't have either. So I'm very fortunate to be like, dad was there, but then mom was all we remember. Like, she vowed to never, ever, ever, ever leave us, because her parents did.
Yeah.
So she's like, I never want to leave you all. And she still sticks by that promise. And I think it's because of her. And I always say, because of her and her prayers, we've been able to sustain for so long.
Yeah.
It is literally the power of prayer and how she has never given up faith and hope every single night. Sometimes it helps.
Yeah.
And then you're like, mom's okay, so we can fight.
Yeah, it always helps.
Yeah.
Like, I think having faith in a difficult situation is a true testimony of strength, because it's so easy to demonstrate resilience and strength when it's going your way.
Yeah.
But it's during those moments that challenge you and test you, where you can fall on either side.
Fully.
Of the
You're
coin.
so right.
Yeah. And given the fact that this was your situation, did you then feel the need to, like you mentioned, right? You've been in this industry for 10 years. And it comes from a place of, wanting to be self-sufficient, wanting to provide for the family, for yourself, wanting to be in a better situation, right? Then financial independence and having a purpose and a passion then becomes your agency when you're in this situation. So talk to me about how that implicated work.
In what way?
Like, did that fuel you, right? In the sense that, okay, look, I've found my purpose, and now I'm going to give this my all and really pull back into this other situation that I can create for myself.
Fully. Like, and that's why I keep talking about this one thing every single time on my channel. I keep advocating for to be like self-reliant and independent for women especially, and even men. But I'm like, girls, you've got to be like, no matter who your husband is, where you come from, who your father is, generational wealth, yes or no, I feel like you've got to have your own. You got to have your own standing and grounding. And I learned that on my own the hard way. So I'm like, I had to pick up the pieces. And now I don't want you to go through the same thing. Even if you have a good life right now, there will be a rainy day where sometimes you may need to have your own backings and own savings, and you need to just move on in life. I don't want you to be stuck. So I had to learn it the difficult way. I think we all did. And I remember this very specific situation when we were at our lowest. There could not be a low moment than that. Okay, everything had crumbled. We had nothing, almost no money, no water, all of that. And I'm just like, I was so fueled in a way that I was mad. I was like, why am I here? Why am I not able to get out of this situation? Why am I living like this? I should not be able to live like this. I was not okay with it. I was like, I don't think I'm okay seeing my mom sleep on the ground, and there's nothing wrong with sleeping on the ground, but we had come from a very lavish past. Okay, and once you live a certain lifestyle, dropping from that lifestyle is very difficult, and then sustaining that lifestyle. We had to adapt in a lot of ways, trying to understand, what is this? Okay, what is this now? How is this life now? So there were so many changes very fast, and it was downgrading, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember one afternoon when there was no water, I vowed to myself, I was so mad, I cried. And I used to always cry after filming. I used to switch off the camera and cry. And I used to be like, I'm going to make sure that I never, ever am in this position ever again. And whatever it takes, I'm going to do. Right? And so I filmed every single day. Hail, storm, sunshine, it didn't matter. No electricity, no water. I'm like, I'm going to make sure I want to upload videos every single time, because that's my expertise. It's all I know. I may not be really skilled at like math or like anything cool, but I know that I have this artistic side to me and people are responding to what I'm saying, and I have mastered makeup in some way. So let me teach it to y'all. So I woke up and did that every day. That's all I did. It took consistency, but I'm telling you, I'm reaping the benefits of it now. A lot of people say, well, how did you gain this success so quickly? How was it? Just I was like, literally, no, dude. It has taken me eternity to like get here, and I'm still not like, I'm here now. I can relax. I'm like, no, I'm still on the go. I'm like, what can we do now? What can we do now? And bigger projects. And so I think it really, use your anger, use your sadness to fuel you. You can go either way you want, but I feel like if you pick the path of I know what I can do to my life. I know I can change the course of my life. I think you just need that mindset. And of course, you need God, always God, prayer first. And then you need to just move in that direction. And once you move in that direction, things start to fall into place. If you give up, man, that's going to be your life. And if I gave up, just imagine, if I'm like, ye nahi hota mujhse, forget it. This is my life now. I would have been nowhere today, and all of us would have been struggling because of one person fell. That was me. So I think for all of us to hold it together, like my brothers, me, my mom, we all had to work in similar energy. Yeah. And I feel like all of us had that warrior energy that we can't let this die down. We have to bring everything back up. And it took years. It took 8 years to finally be like, it's okay. I'm okay now.
Now we're all in a better place.
We're all on standing ground.
So many times people see you for what you are today, but don't see the years and what has been planted over the years that has eventually led to this harvest. And that's such a myopic way of looking at things, because like the book Atomic Habits, which talks about, just consistency. Just like consistently do something and you will be better by 0.1%.
Absolutely.
And then 0.1%. And then that compounds. And then you really reap the benefits when you see it over a macro period of time. So when you were in this situation and, you mentioned that, okay, I'm on camera and I'm talking to you about makeup, which is so different from the situation that's happening in your life at that point in time. How was it that you were able to motivate yourself, right? Like, given that sometimes the basics, which is like water or electricity, which you and I, like you mentioned, you grew up in a way where you take it for granted.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I will turn on the tap and there will be water.
Yep.
How do you balance that dichotomy, right? Of like looking in the camera and being like, I'm this happy person applying makeup.
Yeah.
Turning that camera off and you're in reality.
Yeah. I had to make it work in a way that whenever I switched the camera on and I had makeup in front of me, I'm telling you genuinely also, even today, even through my entire pregnancy, I was the most heartbroken I could ever be. But I still, even at 9 months, you see me do like makeup videos and get ready with me, is when I was like, my heart was shattered and shambled, right? But I'm like, there's one thing I can go back to, is like this little comfort area, which is my makeup. So when I switched on the camera, I love cameras firstly, and I was like, I just got into the zone and I'm like, I'm gonna do what I can the best way possible. So I show up every day with my best possible self, and then when I turn it off, I'm like, it's done, and I can bring light to people's life in some way possible when they see a makeup video, just like I consume makeup videos, and I feel bliss and happiness. So that's what I did every time, and it genuinely brought me happiness. So that's why I say, whenever I'm shooting from 1 to 5, I just don't want any disturbance. You'll find me in closed doors and you'll find me just like filming my favorite piece of content. And I feel like that is what helped me even move ahead. That little bit of joy motivated me to go one more day and one more day.
It's almost like meditation, right? At that point, like where you're like, you forget.
Tuned out.
I tuned out. Exactly. Like you find that one sanctuary and you're like, okay, now when I'm doing this, I don't remember.
I don't remember. Whatever you're right. And I think we all need that, whether it's whatever you like, whether it's running for you, working out, pottery, whatever you feel like gets you like away from the situation you're in, do it. Do it more. And I feel like you have that sustained energy. You're like, okay, fine, now I can come back to this reality now. So you to escape a little bit.
Yeah. So talk to me about the one inevitable thing when it comes with you putting yourself out on the internet, which I'm privy to. I've been doing this for 10 years myself.
Okay. Yes, 10 years.
It's been long. So we kind of know how this industry and this space works. very nasty things are said about you in very many different contexts, not just you. By you, I mean you
I
with
understood.
people who are on the internet
Yeah.
in general, who
Love.
put their life out
Yeah.
there, who are public. What has that journey been like for you in two parts, right? There's one part which is just your journey, and then, of course, the second part, which has to do with your family, the divorce, being a single mother.
Yeah.
We'll start with the first part.
So initially, I don't remember getting a lot of hate. Generally, there are people, so it's okay. But I remember justifying a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I'm doing this because of, yeah.
Okay, guys, so this one comment, and I want to sit and justify why. And a lot of people would comment back saying, Maj, you really don't have to.
Yeah, like that one person.
Nobody's seeing that. And I was like, no. I see like 100 comments and I see that one little DM that's like, oh my God, but this. But now I've stopped. I've pulled back. Of course, we've matured in social media and doesn't affect me anymore. I don't go to those websites that show a lot of... all of the stories are made up, firstly, very, very presumptuous, and like, even I'm like, wow, they could create such amazing stories out of their own mind. I'm like, this is full projection that's happening.
Fiction.
Yeah, fully. And I'm like, not even 1% of this is true. So I'm over it now, dude. As long as you know your truth, I feel like genuinely my family knows where it's at. I don't even bother because people are coming from hurt. The only way to like retaliate or like, react would be to someone who they either look up to secretly or they envy their lives. And I'm not enviable by any means, but I'm just like, if you just like are stuck in a bad situation, and if you see, like, suppose, for example, I can't have a baby and I see baby pictures online and my favorite influencers have babies. I'm like, this is not, I want to be living
like
that life.
I'm annoyed, yeah.
I'm annoyed, you're not inspired, but you're annoyed. And so you just can't help yourself but like type those nasty things out. So I've become more like empathetic towards people like that. It's not personal. If I start to take everything personal and everybody is so offended these days so
easily offended, easily. So I just think that when people have their opinions, they will always have their opinions. It's just that now people emote them far more. I will tell you exactly how I think. I will not hold back.
I understand exactly what you mean. Just ruminate over it. Give yourself some time. Like, it's always like how you react to situations, right? That's the ultimate. Like, how you respond to life and respond to situations is everything, right? You're triggered by everything. You're offended by everything. And then, are you sleeping well at night? Do you have peace at night? Forget it.
Like, you have so much energy to give, right? Like, just conserve it. Just be like, I'll do something else,
I know. It's bothersome to a lot of people, man.
So how was it for you, especially when you were... it's so public when you go through a separation, and also at a time where you're pregnant and in the late stage of pregnancy, which by itself I can't imagine what that felt like and what you were going through. And I can't believe you were creating content, and that's a whole separate thing. But
I know.
What do you feel like when people are having theories, or like, oh, this is what it is, or that is what which floats the internet inevitably, not just in your case, but so many different cases? What was your mindset then?
I don't know, because you have a choice to either share your life or not. And very early on, I decided I want to be able to do that because that was my only form of connection with my audience. Like, if a public figure is not sharing bits and pieces of their like personal life, I can't connect, I can't relate. So very early on, I was okay with it. I'm like, I'm just going to talk about this. And we had been together for so long. So it was out in the public that we were together. They put us on a pedestal, so to say, like, this is the perfect like couple, perfect marriage. And people tend to do that when they see. But what they don't see is like we do put out a lot of authentic stuff, but it's also, you're seeing like seconds and stuff. You're just seeing seconds and minutes of my life on, social media. But I decided that, what, if they've been with me so far, they might as well,
know from me.
Yeah, know from me. And yeah, they have their theories and assumptions and stuff. But I think what people are most sad about, and I understand where they're coming from, is that lately, we've seen a lot of famous or public figures separate, right? Break apart and stuff. And people are just like, what is happening? Like, I read a lot of DMs where they said, now, if this didn't happen, like, I don't know if I can believe in love or marriage again. I don't, if it can happen to you too. And I'm like, we're not special. We're just humans. We're leading regular lives and we have regular issues that go on, so I think women are starting to know what they want. They're starting to sort of identify that they don't want to settle, and things like that. And even men, they're starting to not be okay with just a marriage. They're like, we want more out of a marriage. Maybe we're growing into different human beings. And I think people like our generation is starting to identify those things, because earlier back in the day, they used to be okay with it.
It was like, it's fine. Like it's like an institution, and you got to make it work, even if it's really, really broken.
Yeah. Even if it's really broken, like you try everything and you're like, okay, we grew up into two different, but our moms and dads just continued being together for the children. Unhappily for the children, for everyone. So I think you saw lesser divorces and separation back in the day, also due to society. And I think now we're starting to understand, both male and female, we're starting to understand that, look, I don't think I'm happy anymore, and I want to take a step back, to reevaluate. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot more come out, because they're starting to understand what gives them joy. They're starting to understand that we have our whole lives ahead. And, I don't think we want to settle, And though we have a lot of admiration, love, and respect for each other, I feel like eventually you just grow apart sometimes. And that's what happened. And it happens to so many people. Like I said, don't put your favorite stars or public figures on a pedestal. They're all leading very regular lives, and they all have issues at the back that should be private and should be like, within closed doors, and shouldn't be discussed out there, especially because I have a baby now, but I think that is the way to go. And it was very difficult for me, but I received a lot of support, I'll be honest. More than hate. I don't know if there was hate, but there was tremendous support for like, just take your time, like we're right here if you ever need. I remember putting out my first post and they were just all supportive. There was not even one like negative comment and stuff. So it was carried very well throughout my entire journey. So I was able to move on like that. But I also didn't pay a lot of attention to what the public would say.
I mean, it's your life.
I'm just like, this is what it is. Now I'm just gonna heal.
Yeah. Was it a particularly difficult decision? So I'll ask you from the context of, I have friends who are separating or getting a divorce. The baby kind of is that pivotal decision, right? Not so much as just two partners who have been married. Was that a particularly difficult decision? And how did you arrive there? And I'll ask this from the perspective that there may be women who are in a similar situation, but like you said, like even in our parents' generation, stay together for the kids. And that's a very subjective choice, right? But putting yourself first is not wrong either.
Absolutely.
So talk to me about that decision.
I think a lot of us, or a lot of our generation, grew up with sometimes broken homes, broken families, or parents together that don't like each other anymore, or are abusive or anything. And we grew up in that environment, and we didn't really, and then you don't really end up liking the idea of a marriage and relationship, because you saw your two idols, which are your parents, fight a lot and are not happy anymore. So it doesn't it's not healthy for the kid as well when they see two unhappy parents together. So you rather have two separated, really, really happy parents who are fulfilled in their own lives and who are able to give full love to the child. And it's very possible, by the way, you can give complete love with both families together, putting the child first. When you think like this, it's easy to move along. When you think, everything I do, I'm going to put Abby first. Like, that's what I say. So everything I do, you have to keep your child first and be like, what would she feel in the next 5 years? How would she feel about this situation? I don't think she'd like to see mama sad, or I don't think she'd like to see mama unhappy, or dad. So I think, taking light of that situation, I'm so glad that we're empowered today as women to take that step. And even men can today, to be very honest. I'm not speaking of one gender, but because I'm a woman, I can only speak from my perspective. So I think it's okay to take that stance and be like, even if I have children today, but I'm really, really, really unhappy. It has to be like, to arrive at a decision like this, you have to really try everything and be like, now it's really not working.
Like, I've tried everything that there was to try.
So it's not like you are giving up on a marriage where you should not have. Absolutely try your best, try everything you possibly can, and see whether you have a future together, see whether it's possible. And sometimes it's just God blesses you with things that are just, we can't see those. Humanly, we're not able to see those blessings in disguise. But I think it is, children are a blessing from God. And she's truly like the happiest. I've been the happiest I've ever been. I'll be very honest with you. Like when I go back and think for a year back, I was like, how am I going to do this like by myself? But turns out like I think she was the source of my strength. She became that girl who's just like, we're going to be okay, just two of us. And I said, yeah, I think this is possible to do, just me and Abby. A lot of times I sit and I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. But I want to encourage women, like if you're really in a situation where you think this is it, and I don't think I can go one step more, I think your children will understand. They would eventually want to see mama and dad happy. That's the ultimate goal for kids. Just like how parents want to see their children happy, मुझे बस आपको खुश देखना है. We just want to see you happy. Same thing the kids want for the parents. Yeah. And the parents oversee that sometimes. They're like, no, we know what's best. Yeah. But think about what the child wants as well. Now they don't want mama and dad like to fight. Or
bickering, like being in a house where there's negative energy. Yeah.
So I think it's okay now. It's okay to just decide that you want what you want and to take steps moving forward.
Best for like 3 people, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to one person being happy and 2 people being extremely unhappy.
Yeah, exactly. I think if everyone's on the same page and everyone's mature about it, because it's very rare situation that everyone's okay about this. Usually it's not. It's a very ugly situation. But I think we're at a good place now. Yeah. And so it's been difficult. I'm not going to lie. Like being a single mom very early on actually was very difficult. Navigating pregnancy was difficult. I had no idea how to like mother this baby that was about to come. And it's all a first time thing.
Like you learn on the job.
On the go.
Yeah.
And this is a human, dude. Like it's a human that you're supposed to bring up with all your might while battling the scars of your body. You're literally like going through postpartum. You're going through stitches. You're going through your stomach being ripped apart, 7 layers. Like it is everything that could possibly go wrong with your body has happened during pregnancy. Yeah. Your organs have moved. Yeah. You're bleeding continuously for 6 weeks. And you're supposed to like feed your baby, look after your baby, also look after yourself, but also be okay with people around you just because they're, visiting the baby. Or it's too much pressure on women, man.
I know.
Single or not.
It's just pressure on women.
It's too much pressure on women to just be all okay the next day after giving birth. Like your body is shattered and in shambles. I am telling you, I've never felt this kind of a weakness and pull from my body that I've ever felt after birth. Like after birth, only if someone goes through it, they can empathize with what I'm saying. Everyone, you can just imagine, and I don't even think your imagination can cover what it actually feels like. Be it vaginal birth or a C-section, it is both equally difficult, and it's just very difficult to mend everything together. So I was mending a broken heart, I was mending a broken body. I was doing so many of it together that I was very overwhelming.
No, it sounds tough. It sounds so tough. It's because very tough. When you're especially going through, my sister just gave birth for the 3rd time actually, and
wow,
yeah,
standing ovation to that. I don't know how people do it more than once. I'm like, you have unreal courage to be like, I wapas karungi.
3rd time, and I'm like hearing. Yeah, it is really, people have questioned sanity a lot. Don't worry, you're not the first person.
I don't know if she loves to sleep.
So like I'm like talking to her and like I'm like listening to details, right? Not going through details, and I'm like I can't listen to this. I'll like just so what's up?
Feel her. Girl, hear her out, man. I think she just wants to reach out.
No, then she was fine. She's done for the 3rd time now, but like,
then you become
a
pro.
Yeah, like you're a pro. But exactly to the effect of what you said, right? That it's not just the body, it's also the heart and the mind for you at that point in time.
Full.
How did you kind of make yourself okay with the comfort that one seeks in a partner usually during these moments not being there? Because, and I'll tell you, because my sisters, when they've delivered, my brother-in-law's comfort or like them being there physically, mentally is so paramount.
No idea.
Yeah. So how was that?
Look, I will never know what I never had, right? I will never know what I missed.
Correct.
So if I never had that in the first place, so I don't know what that's like. I just know of a single parenthood thing. So
yeah,
I'll never
like
know
this is what it's been. So
Yeah.
I don't know any.
So I don't know what a
different.
comfort of a partner feels like during postpartum and stuff. So yeah, that was very hard to navigate. I won't lie. That was very, very difficult to navigate. But I think my mom was like a pillar of strength. Like I keep saying, like she was going through a very challenging health crisis herself, but she put that aside and she made sure she was literally taking care of my daughter like her own, and she does. And I remember like absolutely breaking down on the dinner table and being like, I need to sleep. Like I don't know how to do this, because I'm like, you know what, the baby should be with mama, and I'm the one who's supposed to
comfort
her and give her care because I birthed her. And my mom was like, I've done this 3 times. Can you trust me with your baby? Like, I want you to sleep a full 8 to 10 hours. And I was like, what is that even like? I didn't even know. And I'm telling you, it's been 1 year and some days, and I still don't know what uninterrupted, what a peaceful sleep is like still. I've had uninterrupted sleep till today, right? So like for a year and up, there's not been a cycle of clean sleep.
Yeah, like it's passed out and woken up in the morning.
I don't know what that's like. I've lost it. I don't know what that's like, okay? So I always say, if there's one gift you want to give me, put me in a hotel room, shut me in for 48 hours, and I'll only sleep. Yeah. I think all mothers want that. So she's like, can I do that for you? So I was like, I can't anymore. Like I physically cannot do this anymore, right? That was my breaking point. That night, my mom took her to her room and she's like, I'll do it. I'll do everything. You just give me milk, So I woke up and I went back to sleep and I'm like, wow, I'm a renewed human.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just slept for mere 6 hours. It's okay. Uninterrupted because I had a pump. But I'm like, this feels amazing, not having to like hold her, because dude, I was in stitches, right? Fully stitched up, not able to walk, developing an infection I didn't know at that point. And I was like doing all of it just without the comfort, right, of my partner. But my mom was my partner.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your partner.
Yeah.
But anybody who can like hold you through the darkest of times, she was my like co-parent. I'm telling you, all single moms, like you just need your girls.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know what it is like to have like the comfort of a man. I really don't while you're pregnant. But if you have your like best friend just like holding your hand, walking you through the hospital, and your mom and all, like, you're good. Like you'll make it through.
You get through it.
You cannot do it all.
Yeah.
Like you cannot.
It's like, nobody can. Nobody can.
Mothers are put on in this like whole, they're supposed to give birth and also automatically have like breast milk come just because it's supposed to. Yeah. No, it's not supposed to. Some people cannot.
They don't get it.
They don't get milk.
Which is why they call it liquid gold, because there are mothers who literally cannot produce milk.
You cannot. And they shut down the idea of bottle feeding. They shut down the idea if you can't breast milk, formula milk. They shut down the idea of separating the mom from the baby or putting it in the cot. I'm like, you have no idea
it's
what
about
she has
survival.
done.
Beyond a point, it's just like, I gotta survive. Like, I want to do what it takes to survive.
First 6 months is survival.
Survival, yeah.
Full survival. You don't care, babe. Yeah. So it's been hard, but I'm telling you, I don't know, man. It's literally, God has brought me through this entire year with so much strength, and He made sure He blessed me with added strength.
Yeah.
And I think that's all you ever need.
Yeah. How is it co-parenting now that you're in this situation where, I mean, there is a father, right? A biological father, for the lack of a better word. How does co-parenting work, and does it really work?
It could. I'm still very early on.
Yeah, like she's 1, so like you really don't know.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So I'm still very early on. I can't even comment on that because honestly, it's very early on in the journey, and baby needs mama the most right now. I'll be very honest.
Yeah.
Like all babies need mamas for the first year entirely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been okay. It's difficult navigating, but I think eventually we're going to find our footing. I think it's very new even for us, for both of us. So we're still finding our footing.
Yeah. Do you get the feeling of sometimes worrying about, like, say, finances, right? Which is a very real kind of premise for a single mother, because you're not only fending for yourself, you're fending for a human being. And I have nephews and I know how expensive kids are. I'm just like, dude, why does his diaper cost so much? I can't understand it. Like, I was buying Magna tiles and I was like, Wait, what is this? A cost like Legos? And I'm like, dude, this is like absurd amount of money. And like,
you know what I realized? Listen, I was a new mom, and I'm like, okay, this is needed, this, that. I have donated so many baby clothes and I've passed it on to new moms, and with tags on, because you get very excited initially and you shop all of it and you're like, listen, baby just needs one kapda and
swaddled
milk, and you can put the baby anywhere and they will be fine. And I learned that the hard way.
And the baby doesn't care about its OOTD. Like, what am I wearing?
Till now, they don't care about additional like clothing and style. Listen, like, you don't have to spend so much money. Spend on the essentials, which are obviously formula if you can, and diapers.
Yeah.
Baki, they're good, babe.
Yeah,
they just need your arms and your chest, and literally you will breeze through the first year.
Yeah.
So,
but not from a first year perspective, like, let's talk a little bit long term, like just in terms of, say, education, just the varying needs that you have to keep up with.
Sure.
Does that propel you to work more? And I'm assuming that, of course, working is super important. Then what do you do about mom guilt? So tell me about the dichotomy of this entire situation, because it's just every part is moving.
It is. There was initial mom guilt when I had to step out for an event, and my job requires me to step out sometimes. Luckily, I work from home, and I'm so blessed with the job I have right now. But sometimes I have to step out, and initially it was very hard. I'm like, what if Abby needs me? What if she needs me? But then again, I have my mom fully there and ready to take on, because she's literally like, she is mother to Abby, right? So the guilt still eats you up. I think it's a continuous feeling you have to battle. You have to get familiar with the feeling of guilt. You have to be like, okay, this is there, I feel it. And you have to feel okay with that feeling, befriend that feeling, because it's gonna be a long while until you're okay with, letting that go. But I feel like definitely working is something that I don't think I can stop for a very long time. It's fueling me more than ever. And once you've seen the life I've seen, and you're coming from the ashes, you don't want to go back into the ashes. So you continue doing your best.
Especially for your daughter now. Yeah. Like, it's such a cyclic thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, what you see is like, and you've been through, you're like, I definitely don't want it for myself, but I definitely don't want to project it on my child.
No.
In certain terms.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think both of us are, as parents, we are sort of like protecting her in terms of finances. We are opening some investments up, or, we have her bank accounts open. So we are starting to do small little things that we know by the time she's ready to get out there, that she has everything she really needs.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we are so blessed today. If you're a working mom and working just parent in general, I feel like it's important to plan for your kid. Again, nobody sees the rainy day. They don't see because you can't.
And as human beings, we're so like, it's going to be like, hey, sunny and shiny, and there's birds chirping all the time. Like, you don't want to consider the rainy day.
Yeah, you don't want to, because it's, don't speak of it now. Like,
it's all good, yeah.
But I think speak of it. Speak of all of this. Speak of finances. Speak of it, because I think it protects you. So what I've been through, I don't want my kid to go through. So I'm sort of like protecting her from every possible way. So both of us, in fact, are sort of like building up this corpus eventually that would help her decide whatever she wants to do. She has the freedom of doing. And I feel so comfortable with where I am right now, because I have worked for it so far that I'm very comfortable with even my decisions. See, I think a lot of our past generations and our moms and aunts and stuff could not leave their marriages for a certain reason, because they were dependent on
financially, 100%.
Right?
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
The main core of why they could not leave their marriage despite anything. They can't pick up the bags and be like, I'm unhappy, I'm leaving. But I feel like if you're independent, like right now, you have that onus to take that decision. You have that power to be like, I think I'm okay leaving this marriage now. I'll be okay with my daughter.
Because then money is not a factor, right? Like, it is not the deciding factor of when you should live in a marriage or stay in an unhappy marriage, for example.
Yeah. I'm going to do something very controversial. Okay, it's okay to displease your in-laws and your parents sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to always keep them happy. Where if you keep them happy all the time, you're literally slowly dying inside every single day because you're not living up to your full potential. You're not living up to your truth.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you displease them, if they're angry with you for a certain amount of time, chalega, they will come back to you. They love you eventually.
Yeah.
It's just that protect yourself.
Yeah.
Just be smart enough to be like, listen, I have plan B in case anything ever happens. I have this little thing that I have for me and my child. If I ever feel the need to take off, or if I don't like this,
or even just for you, assume that there's no child in the equation, right? There is just so much value in having that corpus for yourself. And like, I feel like women, the quicker they understand that, the better it is for them to have agency in whatever it is that they want to do.
Absolutely. And it can be the smallest amount.
One of my last few questions, and this actually comes back to the point of things in cycle, right? Like, you are a single mother with your mother, who also raised you like a single mother. You were talking about it. Talk to me about how that relationship has evolved, because it's so interesting to now understand when you told me that she's her mother, like she looks after her. And you've really stuck by your mother when the time was there. And today she's sticking by you. So talk to me about that relationship.
About me and mom?
Yeah.
Oh my God, where do I begin? I don't even know where to start with my mom, because I feel like it can go either way. I don't think everybody has an easy relationship with their mother. It's always the dads, but I really feel like there is a bunch of people who have very uncomfortable relationships with their mothers. And that is a difficult one to like tackle when you're so young, right? And fortunately, I just had like the best mom, even though she didn't have a good childhood, man. She was like absolutely she was like, she needed love. Okay, she needed love. She never got love growing up, and she only expected love, and that's all she ever wanted. Not materialistic things. She's like, I just need love and a hug. So basic, right? So basic. Just need a hug. And she grew up into that, being like, I'm gonna give my children everything I never had. You can either take it away or you can give it all, right? So she gave it all. So I feel like even today as a 31-year-old, and even my brother as a 32-year-old, they're big. Okay, 32-year-old, we still call on our mom. And it's like one relationship where I don't know if we can survive without, which is, it's tough to think about. But I feel like her struggle as a single mom initially was difficult for me to understand. I'm like, but why? But, you should have walked out earlier, Like, there's so much anger and confusion in children. They don't know how to manage these feelings. But I feel like now I get like why she did what she did. With all the information she had, she could only do that. So you can't really, I know we expect a lot out of our mothers, and we wish they would have walked out sooner. We wish they could have done this, but I'm telling you, they did everything they possibly could. Like even today, even a few years from now, if my daughter has questions about me, I'm like, I genuinely did everything I possibly
I did my best.
I don't know what I could have done, because 10 years later there'd be something else that I could have done. But I'm like, I could not have done back in the time. So don't try and be a perfect parent, man. It's just not, it doesn't exist only. Just try and like be your best and most authentic self at every single time, and don't lie to your children.
So on that note, have you thought about the conversation that you will have with your daughter?
So I am prepared to have that conversation at any point, and I feel like that is the only thing. You gotta say truthfully, and you gotta treat them like adults, and you gotta communicate in a very clear, crisp manner to your children. Don't hide it, don't sugarcoat it. It is what it is. And you got to say it, you have to protect them, but also you got to say it as it is, because they will learn to develop however they feel. You should allow them to feel it as well, and then help them navigate those feelings.
Okay, let's talk about forward looking. How do you feel about love? And how do you feel about the idea of love now?
I mean, I'm again super new to it, I'll be honest, very new. I'm just being by myself. I just love where I'm at now. I'm still not fully there yet. So again, it's taken me a journey. I cannot even think of another person. So that's out of the picture. For me, it's literally me and Abby and how I'm going to raise Abigail for the first few years. It's very, very crucial. The first 3 years of a child's life is extremely crucial. How they're placed, how they're communicated with, it really defines their entire life later on, and they remember things, right? So my focus is Abby right now, and literally truly coming back to myself. I really want to come back, and I am. You know how we first initially date, everything's about the boyfriend, boyfriend's friends, boyfriend. So I drew away, I just like let go of my core values very easily. They shed off over the years, but I feel like I'm so happy now. I'm focusing on such important things that are actually shaping me to be a well-rounded human being, and especially a mom. Even when you're dating, not just marriage, even when you're dating, it's very easy to just want to bounce back or want to get a rebound or just, go back out there to make them jealous. And I'm just like, girl, I'm like, listen, hold yourself back, relax, breathe it out, just live your life.
Be your own rebound.
Amazing. Be your own rebound. It's great. You're right. I think you've got to like center yourself. A lot of women think they're just like ready to move on and stuff. I think just relax, center yourself, and I'm so excited for like the future. I cannot believe I'm saying these things, but I'm very happy about where I'm at and how I'm directing my life now. And so love, I'm just leaving it, like I said, faith. I'm leaving it on my faith. I'm leaving it on God. He will lead the way. I'm not, now, you know what? It's literally not, I cannot lean on my own understanding. I really can't, because I did it. I controlled every aspect of my life. Okay, I'm a control. One of those control freaks are like, by 30 I must, by 31 I must. I'm like, all of those timelines and all I had. Look, guys, nothing worked out, because God is like, how much are you going to plan? How much are you going to do? Leave your burdens unto me. And so that's what I do. I'm like, I leave my burdens unto you. Leave all your burdens. And literally just all you can do is control how you react. That's the best you can do. Baki sab.
It's the surrender. You surrender and say, okay,
you cannot
it's with
everything.
You now.
It's with you, Lord. Yeah. That is it.
I'm just going to flow.
I'm just going to flow in your way. And trust me, the minute I start to let go of those burdens and those timelines, I'm like, now it's easy. Now I'm feeling relaxed, right? I'm at peace every day. Earlier, I used to worry. And now it says, do not fear. So I'm not fearing. I'm like, let it be.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And I'm only 31. Yeah. My whole life is left. I have a new relationship, which is my daughter. I have to get to know her. Yeah. She has to get to know me. Yeah. It's a whole relationship that I have to make space for in my life right now. So I think that is the most important thing that I have to do. And and I think building my relationship with myself, with God, with mom, so many things to do.
Rebounding with yourself.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yes, that's me.
Okay, it's been such a lovely chat. I'm going to end this with just asking you for advice, because I think that it's the time. And there's no time like now to talk about things that people don't like talking about. Okay. And, there are so many people, women and men, who could be watching, who are just looking for a little bit of direction when things aren't going their way. Yeah. And you've been through it. You've been through the wrong, extremely difficult, unpleasant situation, and you look great, and you look like you have it together. And I'm really glad you're at this place. So what would you like to say to them?
Oh my God, so many different things. But you may feel like this is never going to end. I'm telling you, it feels like that. Everybody watching in like the deepest, darkest moments now feel like ye kabhi khatam nahi hoga, and this is my life. I'm just going to accept it. But trust me, dude, you have no idea what's in store for you. You have no idea. Sometimes God takes people out of your life for a reason, and He places things in your life for a reason. And you have to remember there is a season for everything in your life. Your singlehood, your marriage, your dating life, your family life. There is a season. You can't have everything at once, okay? So be ready to let go of things when don't try to force them together. You sense a resistance. When you're sensing a lot of resistance, it's time to let go, because that's not meant to be in your life. And I feel like that is the best thing you can do. Look for people who only can lift you up, who celebrate you, who want the best for you, who are pure intentioned. People with pure hearts. You don't want to get into the wrong crowd, because once you do that, it is inevitable. Like, it's a dark, deep sinking hole. You can go down, down, down from there. So save yourselves from that. Choose good people. Again, draw closer to your faith. Read more books. Like, I'm telling you, I did all of that when I was like in in the dark last year. I was actually trying to find my way of how to move forward now. How am I going to do this? And eventually you'll realize like as time passes, your wounds heal on its own. It just heals, your heart does, but you cannot sit and sulk in one place in a deep dark room. You have to get out and break that shell, and you have to know that you are worthy and you are going to be so loved in the future. But if you don't open yourself out, how is anyone going to reach you? So be okay to accepting help, especially moms. You have to accept help. Say, take my kid if you want to take it for a day. Take it, please. I will go out with my girls. Do it, because then you choose yourself. And even the men out there, I think there's so much pressure on men to just provide and be a certain way all the time. They cannot cry. They have to maintain a strong barrier. They have to provide, but also be loving to. You don't know their battles, because now a lot of men are just like forced into this like masculinity bracket.
Syndrome.
Yeah, it's too much. It's very pressurizing on them as well. And that's why I say, women, you also work and balance it out with the
honestly,
man.
why should it only fall upon the man? I've never understood the concept. And I feel like even if not for yourself, to contribute is such a big thing to your relationship, right?
Yeah,
like one person isn't just struggling.
Yeah, it's okay. Like imagine being able to buy something for your partner at some point and being like, this is for you, and then he buys you the same, and it just feels like a collaborative marriage or collaborative relationship. So I feel like even if you can do a little bit and just allowing him space to speak on his feelings, allowing him to just be sometimes, I think men also feel a little relieved not having to carry the burden of their past and their fathers that they put on them. So they're supposed to be a certain way. Sometimes not a lot of men can carry that weight. Okay, so try and like release that for your partners as well sometimes, so it's both ways. So both men and women, just like relax a little, let it go. I feel like we have too many like burdens and baggages that we're carrying, and we're just like marching on ki humko karna hi hai. Sometimes just fall on your people, man. Just fall on your people, and they will carry you ahead. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a good way to end. Thank you so much. It's a lovely chat.
Same.
Next time we will have you, and we will have Abby also.
Oh my God.
We'll get her for show and
We'll
tell.
see if this shoot even get completed with Abby, because she is very naughty.
No, we will. She's adorable, and you're adorable. I'm so glad we did this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for being the best community, and we'll see you in the next one.